Hey, hey, what is up, spiritual hooligan? Are you ready to activate fearless living? I mean, what would you do if you could dramatically reduce your worries or your fears or your doubts? I've got 8 keys to fearless living, and today is the second in a series of 8 daily enlightenments that'll help you to connect with enlightened perspectives. Because when you do that, you're on your way to living a fearless life. This is a bunch of stuff that I work on with my private mastermind group, and I thought I would share it with you as well. My name is Matthew Ferry, and I'm bringing you your daily enlightenment. It's your moment to pause, to slow down, to get connected to enlightened perspectives. I want to help you to quiet your mind and restore your peace. Now, living a fearless life, or fearless living, as I've been saying in this particular series, is an expression of an enlightened state. And the dictionary defines enlightened as having or showing a rational, modern, and well-informed outlook, spiritually aware. Now, I define enlightenment as the recognition that the source of life within you is the source of life for everyone and everything, that we are all one thing expressing itself with infinite variety. And when you know that, your mind goes quiet. When you know that, you recognize, you live from all is well, and boom, your fear disappears, and you become extremely pragmatic and practical. In fact, you're going to find that stress, overwhelm, sadness, fear, all those things fade to the background. I've got 8 keys to fearless living from an enlightened perspective, and it's about developing your knowing, being committed versus attached, creating alignment, shifting your being, fearless speaking, creating structure, restoring integrity, and finally, number 8, fearless action. But today, we're going to explore number 2, which is being committed versus attached, so that you can get yourself on your own path to fearless living. So I want to start by imagining that you are fearless. I want you to start there. I mean, as a fearless person, what do you want? What are you going to create? What do you want to do? How do you want your life to be? How do you get your life to a place where for you experience all is well? What would that look like? What if it was easy, effortless, and enjoyable? What would that look like? What would change? What would you do differently? What are your ideas, your inspirations, your desires? What's coming through you? So now the question is, are you in a committed state around those ideas that just flash through your mind? Or are you in an attached state around those ideas that just came through your mind? Let's reflect on both states and let's see if we can move ourselves in the direction of committed. So the dictionary defines committed as feeling dedication and loyalty to a cause, to an activity, a job, wholeheartedly dedicated. And the dictionary definition of attached is fear of losing something if the conditions aren't correct. So let's think about those 2 states. I want to talk about being attached first, because when you're attached, you're afraid, essentially. So in my world, attachment is an exaggerated fear of losing an imaginary benefit. So you have some imaginary thing, right? All those, I said, what do you want your life to be? Where are you going? What are you doing? How do you want it to be, right? All these ideas that come through you. What would make your life feel like all is well? And when you think about those ideas, suddenly what happens is the drunk monkey in your head becomes attached to them. Like, if I don't get that, then my life is going to be bad. Or because I don't have that now, my life is bad. Both of those things are illusions and an expression of attachment. When you are afraid, you're inflexible. Your focus narrows. When you're afraid, instead of being expansive in your view, you get myopic in your view, and that's an expression of survival. When you are afraid, what happens is your biology says, get everything focused on making sure this one thing doesn't hurt you. Run away, attack, etc. Solve the problem. When you're attached and things don't go as expected, your biology panics. And that limits your flexibility. It reduces your optionality. It kills your power. I think you've heard me talk about the game changer formula, which I talk about all the time, or the game changer process, which is awareness makes you flexible, which reveals new options, and that gives you power. Awareness makes you flexible, which reveals new options, and that gives you power. In the Daily Enlightenment, my objective is to simply expand your awareness so that you're more flexible, you see new options, and you have more power. But let's talk about attachment, because you know you're attached when you're saying things like this. Why is this so hard? Why does this always happen to me? I never get it right. How come everyone else is getting what they want and I'm not getting what I want? So I just wonder, what do you say when you're attached? What's your set of words? Now, when you're committed, it's totally different. When you're committed, you orient yourself differently than when you're attached. You start to recognize that all these ideas and inspirations and these goals and these dreams and like what you want your life to be, right, is not you. It's not yours. They're not your ideas. When you're committed, you recognize that the universe is creating. And you are what is being created. You can't distinguish yourself from an enlightened perspective. You can't distinguish yourself from what you're creating or the world that you're living in and the experience that you're having. They're all the same thing. You are what is being created. So when you're committed, you stop being so damn serious about it. You're not important. Your life is not important. Try this on, okay? I want you to think of yourself like a tree in a forest. Some trees make it, some trees don't. But the trees are all an expression of the same thing. And they're all an expression of life bringing itself into being through a state of self-organization, cells splitting and dividing and creating these complex organisms. Well, that's all you are too. And when you start to recognize that, when you step back and say, I am just life creating, you stop being so serious. You're an expression of the environment. So today, will you do some things for me? Will you let go of trying to prove something? Who are you proving it to? And for what reason? That's just a survival perspective. Let go of trying to get somewhere. Where are you going? It's funny to say it, but wherever you go, there you are. You're still there. Each new place has contained within it reflections about what you've experienced in the past and ideas about what are coming in the future. But the question becomes, can you get yourself fully rooted right here in the present moment and just acknowledge and appreciate, recognize that you're a part of creation. You're a part of the creation that's happening here on earth. If you don't achieve your goals, nothing bad's going to happen. If you don't call that person to get what you want, nothing bad's going to happen. If you don't live your life the way you want to live it, nothing bad's going to happen. Will you just take a deep breath in right now? Just connect with some enlightened perspectives. Ready? I am a soul. Just say that. I am on vacation. I am infinite. I am here to experience things, and that's it. If you're infinite, none of it matters. See, when you're committed, you're open to whatever is happening. You're eager to keep moving in the direction of your goal. You don't judge it. You don't make it wrong. You're just being a scientist. You're just doing stuff. You're doing experiments. You have no idea if anything that you are going to do is going to work or happen or work itself out. You're just curious. You're interested. You're exploring all the paths that come into your awareness. That's it. And failure is just creating clarity. That's it. It's just giving you a deeper understanding. Failure is just learning. When you're committed, well, you're unattached to how it'll happen. You're dedicated, but you aren't fearful. You'll see it through, but you don't have to judge the path that you're on. You just take the path that you're on. You're unattached to the outcome. You know that the outcome doesn't actually mean anything, that right now all is well. And it doesn't mean that you're passive, okay? That's very important. You're going to see in this series of daily enlightenments, this is not about passivity. This is about you being a spiritual person who is experiencing an enlightened framework. All is well. That's on the inside. And then you're doing what it takes from this very fearless, pragmatic, and practical state of being. You're doing what it takes to adjust your environment so your environment isn't messing you up all the time, knocking you out of your all is well state. Most spiritual people, they don't take the time to balance the environment. So their environment is constantly throwing them out of balance. So you don't get stopped. You're flexible. And flexibility is really your greatest asset. And that flexibility comes from a detachment, from a commitment to the outcome without having it to be a certain way, from a delight in the process, a curiosity about what'll happen, a recognition you don't know shit. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what path you're going to take. You just have an idea, so you're just going down that path. So you stay open to whatever happens. You laugh at what happens. You declare it perfect. I mean, if you're attached, what do you do, right? If you're attached, you get upset that things don't go as expected. Like you're the ruler of the universe. Like you know how it's all supposed to happen. Come on. That limits your power because the world is doing what it's doing. You are an expression of what the world is doing. And you have this extra part of what the world is doing called conscious awareness. But the conscious awareness that you are is also a part of what is happening in the universe. So you aren't separate from the universe. You are this aspect of the universe that has conscious awareness, which is an additional element in the process of creation and self-organization, things becoming more complex and efficient. Your thinking, your dreaming, your visioning is literally just an aspect of the universe organizing itself in greater states of complexity. That's it. So let go of this idea that you know. You don't. You want to continue to know that the results that are coming through are results that the universe is moving towards. You are an expression of what is being organized and being created. So you don't have to worry about it. Take action out of delight. Move forward with delight. That's the key here. Committed, but not attached. So you don't judge the path. You stay focused on the result. You don't pretend to know how it's all supposed to unfold. You release your arrogance like you understand how the world is supposed to work. You don't. This vision is coming through you. Don't pretend that I own this vision and this is how it's supposed to be. The vision came to you. Don't pretend that you know who and what and where and how. Just be the scientist and find out. And then ride the waves, because the way that the world works is in these like it's not like all at once, right? But even then, did you hear it was oscillation? Waves, that's oscillation. It's not but even that's oscillation, just faster, right? It's waves. So you got to learn to ride those waves. You just got to be the surfer, right? And sometimes it's really moving, it's really working, it's really going, and other times nothing is happening. Sometimes you're riding a wave and you're like, oh my God, everything is so great, I'm doing it, I'm living the life that I want to live, and then just blah, blah, and you just crash. And don't panic, right? Don't freak out. Sometimes you need to go sit on the beach and just chill out. Sometimes you need to take a nap. But when nothing's happening, don't panic at all. Just chill out, relax. The surfer doesn't go paddling out into the ocean looking for more waves. They just know more waves are coming. Just be in that state today, will you? Committed, but unattached. You're committed, but you're unattached. So my question for you today is, what stuck out about the things that I talked about today? What are you going to release as an attachment and just be committed to? What experiments are you going to run? What waves do you need to ride so that you can activate your fearless living? Leave me a comment below. My name is Matthew Ferry, author of Quiet Mind, and I would love for you to like this Daily Enlightenment because you watched it, you listened to it all the way through. Come on. Share this with your other spiritual hooligans. Let's spread this message out so that we can all be living in a more peaceful, joyous state, being enlightened and prosperous. And then leave me a comment. Those are the 3 things that tell these big platforms this is something that other people should be checking out. You can also subscribe to my channel, and I put out a new Daily Enlightenment every single day. In fact, this is number 2 of 8 Daily Enlightenments that I'm putting out in a series on fearless living. You could also go over to the Spiritual Hooligans Facebook group. There's a whole bunch of us there. We're all talking about these ideas. I'll put the link down below. Thank you so much for tuning in to this Daily Enlightenment.